You know, some of the best stories out there are detective stories, and today we're heading to a cosmic crime scene. Our target? A galaxy with a giant, mysterious X carved right into its very heart. So let's start digging into the evidence.
Just look at this thing. And no, this is not a CGI render from some sci-fi movie. This is a real photograph of a galaxy called IC4 767. Astronomers have nicknamed it the X galaxy, and, well, you can see why. It's a puzzle that's just staring back at us from millions of light years away.
So that's the big question, isn't it? What in the universe could possibly be powerful enough and precise enough to sculpt something like this? That's the mystery we are going to unravel today just by following the clues left behind in starlight and motion.
All right, our investigation kicks off with the most basic clue we have, the light coming from the galaxy itself. Because it turns out, when you look at it in different ways, this galaxy starts to show its truly bizarre, shape-shifting nature. So, let's get the case file straight. Our subject is galaxy IC4767. It's hanging out about 153 million light-years from us, which is quite a trek. It's what's known as an S0-type galaxy, kind of like a mix between a spiral galaxy and a more blob-like elliptical one.
Now, if you just glance at it, IC4767 seems kind of boring, honestly. It's just a bright, lens-shaped smudge of stars, you know? It looks like thousands of other S0 galaxies out there. Nothing to see here, right? Well, not so fast.
This is where the real detective work begins. Instead of just taking a picture, astronomers did something clever. They traced lines connecting points of equal brightness. Think of it like a contour map for light. And when they did that, whoa, that smooth oval shape just vanished. And in its place was this weirdly boxy, almost rectangular structure. This is our first huge clue. This galaxy's shape is not what it seems.
And yeah, it gets even weirder. As they looked at the fainter light farther out from the core, that boxy shape sharpened into this incredible peanut shape, or, you guessed it, a really clear X. The X was there the whole time, just hiding in the fainter glow. This tells us we're not looking at one simple shape, but a bunch of different structures all layered on top of each other.
Okay, for our last piece of visual evidence, check this out. This image uses a special technique to highlight different colors, and it reveals this dark lane of gas and dust slicing right across the center. Now, why is this such a big deal? Because S0 galaxies like this one are supposed to be old, retired galaxies. They shouldn't have a lot of gas and dust left. Finding this is like finding a fresh, muddy footprint at a billion-year-old crime scene. Something definitely happened here.
Okay, so we've got a weird shape and dust that shouldn't be there. Now let's move on to the next set of clues. And this time, it's not about what the galaxy looks like, but how it moves.
So to figure out the motion, we first have to see what the galaxy is made of, light-wise. And it breaks down pretty evenly into three main parts. You've got the central bulge of old stars, the main outer disk, and of course, that mysterious X structure. Each part gives off about a third of the galaxy's total light.
And right here is the paradox. This is what blows my mind. When astronomers measured how fast the stars were moving, they found something completely baffling. The central bulge, that big ball of old stars, it's rotating slowly, just like you'd expect. But the stars that make up the X structure, they are whipping around the center at incredible speeds. You've got two groups of stars in the same place moving in totally different ways. That is a massive, massive clue.
Okay, let's recap. We have a shape-shifting structure, a suspicious dust lane, and a super-fast X stuck inside a slow-moving bulge. These clues seem to contradict each other, right? But what if they all point to one single dramatic event? This is the aha moment of our story.
The leading theory is something called the accretion hypothesis. And the idea is actually pretty simple. These weird shapes aren't part of the original galaxy at all. They're the scars of a past galactic collision. Basically, the big galaxy, IC4767, captured and ate a smaller galaxy, and what we're seeing today is just the aftermath of that cosmic smash-up.
So, how does that work? Picture this. A smaller galaxy gets pulled in, but at a weird angle. Its stars and gas don't just mix in, they form their own new disk that's tilted. Then, over millions of years, the gravity from the main galaxy starts to pull on this tilted disk, making it wobble, or precess. It's just like when you spin a coin and it starts to wobble right before it falls flat. Well, if you look at that wobbling cone of stars from the side, from our viewpoint here on Earth, it creates the perfect optical illusion of an X.
Now, that's a really cool theory, but is there any proof? I mean, if this whole violent collision idea is true, we shouldn't just find the final product. We should be able to look out into space and find other galaxies caught in different stages of this exact process. And you know what? We can.
You know, even the original astronomers who studied this thing way back in 1988 had a hunch it was special. They actually suggested that it was a transitional object, a missing link that connects different kinds of weird galaxies that all might have been born from a collision.
So let's look at the evidence, stage by stage. Stage 1 starts with something called a polar ring galaxy. This is what you get when one galaxy smacks into another at almost a perfect 90-degree angle. See how the new material formed this beautiful, stable ring that orbits over the top and bottom of the main galaxy? It's totally separate. Now, for stage 2, the collision happens at an odd angle. And the result isn't a clean ring, it's a total mess of gas and stars being flung everywhere. But look really close at the center of this galaxy, NGC 520. You can just start to see these faint, crisscrossing lines. The gravitational wobble has started, and the X is just beginning to form out of that chaos. And here it is, stage 3. This is our galaxy, IC 4677. This is what that chaotic mess from stage 2 looks like after another billion years or so have passed. All that messy material has finally settled down, tamed by gravity into that wobbling cone of stars, creating the perfect, clean X that got us started on this whole investigation. It really is the missing link.
So what's the endgame? What happens after even more time? Well, that X structure just keeps on evolving, blending in and smoothing out with the galaxy's central bulge. And the final result is this, a box-shaped galaxy. The sharp X is totally gone, and all that's left is that weird rectangular shape we saw in our very first clue. This whole sequence doesn't just explain the X galaxy, it explains a whole bunch of other strange galaxies too. So I think we can say case closed. That mysterious X isn't really a structure at all. It's an illusion, created by the slow, graceful gravitational dance of a galaxy that was eaten billions of years ago. It's a tombstone that marks the spot of a cosmic collision, which really just leaves you with one last amazing thought. If X marks the spot, how many other galaxies out there that look perfectly normal to us are hiding their own violent secrets deep inside their starlight?